Nice job. All right, ace-6 suited, and we see a limper from the 13-6. When you see these guys limp, it's usually pocket pairs or actually something kind of weird like king-queen, ace-10, ace-jack. I mean, it's a 13% range, so it's actually pretty good. His calling range is your raising range, so keep in mind that the fact that he's under the gun, this isn't something like, queen 3 suited. So be wary of that. It is something we're going to want to isolate, but he limp calls 100% of the time. So with ace-6, it's not necessarily an automatic raise, and I know a lot of regs would disagree with me and be like, you have to punish the limpers until they die. But if they're never going away and never going to fold, au contraire, So you go ahead and raise it, which I'm not totally disagreeing with here. I just, be careful is what I'm saying. You get a bunch of callers, predictably. And so you got an overcard and a flush draw. So we're in this situation again. And last time you didn't go away, and I have a feeling you're not going away this time. Definitely c-betting this, and I'm c-betting it good and hard. You check. Not sure why. I guess you wanted to make sure they didn't think you had a flush draw. But I think a bet doesn't give that away at all. I think a bet says you've got a 9 or 2 overcards. So a queen comes, and that's a bit of a scare card, but it does connect well with the 89. We have checks, and you bet this time. And so he flats, and so we're putting him on something, either a draw, a made hand, pair queens, something like that. So I guess my first read was king-queen for some reason. I'm not sure why. So we'll kind of pigeonhole him in there. Maybe he's got, but I'm putting him on a queen here. The 8 comes. He's not folding, all right? So do not bet. And you go ahead and bet. I don't see how the 8 would scare him when the queen didn't. He's not going to, you clearly had an 8, and so you got lucky on the river. I'm going to fold. This guy's never doing that. He's calling this off every single time. So, if you had an 8, I like this bet for value. Or even potting it, because I think any of his queen hands call. So he calls, and he shows ace queen. Okay, kings early, and you raise 3 times, and I really don't like that. Again, I advocate 4 times at these micro stakes at 50 no limit and below, and especially when you're in early position. Usually when I'm in the under the gun or +1, this is at 100 no limit, 200 no limit that I play now. It's always 4, when normally it's 3.5 anywhere else. And then especially here, I might even just make it 5. Just because I know there's these types here on the button, the 33-17, they're going to call. This guy, 48-19. One of these guys I'm going to be playing heads up with, and I'm probably going to be playing 3 ways. So keep that in mind. These guys love to see flops. And so you flopped overs on another kind of coordinated board, and so we're c-betting this, and I don't know, on flops like this I c-bet more. I don't c-bet less. And he calls. There's another 6. That's either a fantastic card or just the worst card possible. You go ahead and bet it in, which is good. Get value for those kings. And then you hit a boat. So now the question comes is, what's the right value bet here? We're looking at him, only 31 hands, but he never folds post-flop. So the fact that he folds 0% to c-bets, 0% to turn bets, to me this is at least a $20 bet here. So 14 I think is not enough. If he's stuck around this long, he's not going anywhere. That's just what these types do. And I think a smart reg, if he was like a 13-11, and he might let go of his ace-9 here, but I think a guy like this never lets go of his ace-9 here. So I would have bet a little bit more, got a little bit more value for your vote. And so he goes ahead and calls, and he showed 87. So little proof there. I think he would have called off anything up the pot. And so I don't dislike your bet, though, on the turn. I'm glad it was at least what it was, and I think that was about the minimum. And if you just got a sense that this guy was going to fold anything more, and you'd seen some of the hands he played, like the 30 previous hands, then so be it. under the gun, or whoops, big blind. Yeah, big blind. Ace jack off, and under the gun raises. Call me crazy, but I'm folding ace jack here, even to this kind of drooling type of player. Ace jack's just one of those hands that always gets me in trouble, and then maybe if I was a better player or whatever, I could call this or even 3-bet it or whatever you're supposed to do. But when I'm in the blinds with a hand like ace 10 or ace jack and someone in early positions raising, I'm giving them credit, and I'm giving them credit for a hand that beats me. But I mean, they might have something like eights, but eights are technically a few points ahead of you. So let's just kind of see what goes on here. So you go ahead and call. Heads up in this position. I mean, it's not absolutely horrible, not a sin, especially at these stakes. But you brick off, and he checks, you check. Now you've got 2 overs and flush draw, so I think you can safely bet $2-3 here, which is fine. And I would have liked a little bet there, just to establish some like dominance in the hand, saying like, hey, I got something. Go ahead and go away. He bets, and so you're calling behind here. It's never a raise. That's good. And so once again, it's just an air ball, and I think you can give up here. He bets, and you call off. I'm not sure why. I mean, maybe you're trying to make a hero call here, but from what we've seen, I mean, he's not betting or calling unless he has something, and he's checking here with his air. So the fact that you don't beat his range. I really dislike the call. Maybe you're calling for information, which I don't like. You can get information by just paying attention to this guy later on. So he shows a pretty good miracle flop there, and very surprised that he raised 78 suited under the gun. But lesson learned for that river. He value bet you and got paid off. You don't want to be paying these guys those river value bets. I mean, so much of what you're going to need to learn, and what you're learning now, and what I've seen from you in the past is that you understand this, is that you need to be getting value for your hands and not paying off the value bets from other guys. So keep that in mind. Tough little hand. Would have liked to seen turn bet, and he probably would have called and given you an indication like, aha, he's already hit this flop. So, okay. So I think we got time for 2 more hands here. Standard raise, and a call behind, and a call in the big blind to a guy who's never folding there. And you flop top pair, good kicker, so this is good news. And you check, which I don't understand at all. You've got to be c-betting there. I don't have any explanation for what you did. I think maybe you were checking for deception so that they wouldn't put you on an ace. But between both of these guys, you can't let them have a free card, especially with some draws out there potentially. So he goes ahead and bets, and I'm hoping you check raise here, and you check call. So not a fan of what's going on so far. Again, I think you have to lead out here, and you don't, and he doesn't, and you've just given him free cards to the river basically. And so now you've got a value bet. I'm hoping that's what you did. $7 is perfect. And he goes to calls, and I'm going to assume he's got a 10. He had ace-6. Whoa. So there you go. This is a good example of you could have gotten a lot more out of this guy. If there was no reason to slow play this ace-queen, which I assume is what you were doing. This guy's never going away with top pair ever, ever, ever. Playing this deep, you could have gotten a little bit more in there. I mean, it's not something you want to stack off with. Top pair, good kicker kind of hand against 2 villains. But keep that in mind. Okay, last hand. So far, so good. This has been really interesting for me. And good plays by you. I really like your game, and it's definitely been improving. Queen Jack mid position offsuit. I don't raise this. I don't play this, but I play tighter than you. I don't play 16-12, but I don't think this is a good raise, just because the hand's just too weak, and we want to be in later position with this. Definitely c-betting flop. He called. Another card comes off. Got to put him on an ace at this point. You hit your jack, and I think you're checking, and he shows ace-10. Okay, so good job. Again, this has been Sean for tightpoker.com. Thanks a lot to Trigga. Hope you enjoyed it.